Welcome in to the Redhawks Coaches Show. We are at Wings Etc. over in Jackson today. We've got a nice crowd here, including President Vargas and his lovely wife are here. We've got plenty of Redhawk fans back in the banquet room. If you've never been to the Coaches Show here at the Jackson location, just walk in the front door and hang a right. We're back in the back, and we'll save you a seat if you're coming for lunch. Their lunch specials start at just $9.79. They're half-pound lunch specials, and, of course, their menu is terrific. They have over 70 menu items that are not their award-winning jumbo wings, including their burger menu. They've got wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads. If you are in the mood for an appetizer, they have their massive ultimate nachos. Their famous deep-fried pickle chips are an option. And if you would like to join us here, we've got 2 baseball games today, the American League Championship Series and the NLCS. That starts at 3:08. You got back-to-back games there. You got Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets hosting Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. You can watch it in high definition here at Wings Etc. If you can't make it and you want the food delivered to your home, they have partnered with DoorDash, and the easiest way to take advantage of that is to download the free Wings Etc. loyalty app. That way you get points for all of your orders, and you can have it delivered directly to your door. It is Wings Etc. Good food, great times in the home of the Redhawks Coaches Show. We're going to be talking it over with Kalani Riddick a little bit later on in the show, the top punt returner in the Ohio Valley Conference. He will join us, and he's among SEMO's leading tacklers, maybe challenging Bryce Norman for the lead on the team in tackles. The Redhawks head coach is here, Tom Matukowicz. His team has moved up to number 8 in this week's FCS Coaches Poll and the Stats Perform Media Poll. That is the second highest ranking ever for SEMO football. I know the fans get excited about stuff like that, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, top 10 ranking is hard to get. It's awesome. One of the things that the university, obviously the university spends a tremendous amount of money on athletics, and certainly we want to be a flag bearer for SEMO, and so anytime that you're capturing those type of headlines, SEMO in the news like that, it's a great thing. It's a great thing for our institution. It's a great thing for athletics. So happy that we're doing that and want to keep it going.
For anybody that would look at your game on Saturday, the old saying in football is the old saying from Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. And your game, it's a cliche they use in football. It was a tale of two halves. Anybody that would look at the final score, 34-3, well, SEMO just dominated from the opening snap. No, the defense did from the opening snap. In the first half, it was 10-0 at halftime. The offense, really wasn't purring like a kitten until the second half, and there was a lot of purring by your offense. And Paxton DeLaurent, we'll talk more about your quarterback coming up, but a couple of interceptions there in the first half, and that's unlike Paxton. I can't remember that he's ever had a 2-interception game.
Yeah, adversity at the end of the day is good. I love that our team had some adversity and loved how we handled it. The sideline never got funky. Guys just kept going. Of course, you don't want that to happen, right? You love to just go out and play really well and, get after them, but that's not how things work. And so it certainly didn't start how you want, and that's how you lose games. That's the greatest equalizer in football is the turnover margin. And we went -3 there in the first half or whatever, and they didn't get any points on it. And so at the end of the day, they never really hurt you, those turnovers, if the defense can go out there and stop them, and that's exactly what they did. The one fumble that was scooping and was going to score, the play that Tristan Smith made, is probably a top 5 since I've been at SEMO. I mean, that is a tremendous play. Ran it down 40 yards and got the ball out before the end zone and recovered it. I mean, that was a 7-point swing there, all by that kid's. It's just a smart play, not only athleticism, and he's a talented guy, but to be aware enough in that situation to create that type of turnover is pretty impressive.
That was my next question. How about the play Tristan Smith made? First of all, the guy that he chased down was a DB. So in theory, those are some of the fastest guys on your team, and he just flat chased him down on the sideline. And sometimes you can reach in with a punch and get it loose. Sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
And in this case, it did, and he grabs the ball before he goes out of the back of the end zone. How quickly did you process that and in your mind know, hey, that we're going to get this football?
Yeah, you knew right away. I was looking for flags or whatever, and then once there's no flags, you knew it was going to be a touchback. But it was a really violent, strip. I need to show that to my DBs and Tuke here, because he really brought it, from outer space. Clubbed it out, which was awesome.
And he had a big day catching the football. The cool thing I thought about the passing game on Saturday, not only all of the records that Paxton DeLawrence set, but with his 4 touchdowns, he hit 4 different receivers. In my mind, going into the season, one of the biggest question marks for your team was your receiving room, just because of who you lost.
Yeah.
And the leading receiver from last year coming back is Jack Klinkenbeard, and he can't get on the field with these receivers. Dorian Anderson had promise, but he was not a go-to guy last year, so you knew he had talent. Mitchell Sellers, we thought maybe his career was over, and then we didn't know much about Tristan Smith, and we didn't know much about Cam Pedro other than Marshall never gave him a shot to even get to play in a football game. And then here you go, you can make an argument the strength of your team are those receivers.
Yeah, totally. It's a good lesson. Obviously, they've done a great job, and our O-line, I'm sure we'll talk about, and it takes everybody, right? You can't throw the ball just because you got good receivers. It literally takes everybody to get it done. But to me, the lesson I've taken away is just your ability to develop talent. So Dorian Anderson had 1 Division I scholarship. Tristan Smith had 1 Division I scholarship. All of these guys had something wrong with them, that was kind of keeping them from being the best they could be. And they came here, and credit to them, they had low enough ego to go to work on that. And Coach Dez, Coach McDowell, all those coaches did a good job of making them better. And because a lot of people think it's just recruiting. Well, you just recruited Tristan Smith. And we did. And there's a lot of talent there, but then you have to be able to develop talent, and that's the secret sauce. I think that's what the Chiefs does. Like that wideout from Texas is a freak, but he was a terrible wideout.
Xavier Worthy.
But they're making him better, and that's what you got to be able to do as a coach, is you got to be able to develop your people. No different than what Joe has to do here at Wings or anybody. You get talent, and as long as they have a low enough ego that you get them better. You show them what's preventing them from being good, and then give them opportunities to build skill there.
And you've had a long-standing reputation of developing talent, not only, at wide receiver, but let's talk about wide receiver. Christian Wilkerson developed into it. If everybody knew he had NFL talent, he would have been recruited by who knows who. Ryan Flournoy catches his first NFL pass yesterday. Christian Wilkerson just caught a touchdown pass in the National Football League.
Yeah, both of them had 1 Division I offer, SEMO. And so that's what I think some coaches, even, they don't understand that, they just think you're going to recruit your way to a championship. You're not. We're not here. You got to be able to recruit talent, but then you got to be able to develop it. And at the end of the day, what is a coach if you can't get your players better? Then why do we even need you? Right? If you can't, that's a definition of a coach, is you're taking a player where he can't take himself.
Injuries have been an issue. You had been pretty good at avoiding them at the receiver position this year. Unfortunately, we saw Dorian Anderson have his left hand, wrist, forearm. I don't know. He's got some sort of a big wrap on that arm, and it may have been the reason he didn't catch the touchdown pass. Now, he caught one later in the game, but, even now the receiving core for Dorian Anderson, that's got to be an adjustment. Ryan Flournoy last year basically had a club of a wrap and still was making catches as Dorian Anderson did yesterday, but that's got to be an adjustment. Guys aren't used to that stuff.
No doubt. And he broke his knuckle at EIU. He didn't get his cast until Thursday, and so he's going to be able to play with it. But it's just like anything, right? You got to get used to it. So he just needs to catch more balls in different situations so he can get used to that. But I loved how he played. He still played physical, still threw it in there and run, blocking and stuff like that he wasn't going to let that be an excuse and change the standard that he plays at.
And starting and having two freshmen on the offensive line, we were talking about that on the radio this morning on the Sports Huddle. I mean, let's face it, true freshmen usually don't even see the field very often, especially on the offensive line, man. It takes time to develop, but because of the injuries, you're playing a couple of freshmen. Paxton DeLaurent threw for a career high on Saturday, and he got sacked one time in the football game.
Yeah, totally just so pleased with our offensive line. Obviously, Coach Orchard's done a great job developing two true freshmen. If you'd have said, hey, Coach, you're going to have two true freshmen start for you this year, I'd have said, hey, I'm going to watch all the games from Joe's tent. I'm going to drink through this season, because that's a terrible feeling, because that's the one position that it takes a lot of time to develop, and you have to have the strength and the size and all those type of things. So the job they're doing, having a new center, Kobe Sixkiller did a great job in there. We got Rashad back from the ankle injury, and he played through kind of a swollen ankle. So those guys that was a gutty performance by them.
How tough is it for a guy like Sixkiller? I mean, he's been the right guard. I mean, he's lining up next to Zach Gigg. He's not snapping footballs. That is a very, important spot. I mean, I watch a couple of college football games over the weekend, and, you're talking veteran centers, bad snap, turnover, and short field, and it flips the game. Yeah, no,
and you didn't even notice it. That's how good he was. Snaps are great. The communication was great. He's a vet. He's going to be a coach. So that all those type of things really help him, and he's performed really, really well.
Offensive linemen, if you talk to them, they will say we are the smartest position on the field. IQ-wise, we're just smarter than everybody else. How smart is this offensive line?
I'd say. I think I have a smart team. I think just playing college football is harder than people think. What you have to learn and all those type of things. And I kind of got out of that game. We had a 3.18 last semester, GPA wise. Like, winning's hard. It's really hard if you're stupid. So I've kind of got out of the stupid game. It's hard to fix stupid, man. So it's kind of like recruiting. Don't recruit it. I don't know if that's political. That's probably offensive to some people.
I don't think it's offensive. Can we be truthful?
Yeah.
So you've got a quarterback. It's one thing to be 6'5", 220, 230, big, strong, throwing arm. Those are the physical tools. Smarts, and that's what we're just talking about. Paxton DeLaurent is smart. He knows the game. It's interesting when we have the wide receivers on the show about how he has them over to his house and they're watching film and eating pizza and they are talking football. They're talking about reads. They're talking about routes. They're talking about what we're doing in certain defensive situations, what we're going to do with the football. You've got to have a smart quarterback, and you have one, don't you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, he can handle any of the verbiage, any of the reads, any of those type of things. I think what separates him, what separates great players like Bryce Norman, is it's not just their intellect, it's their processor. right? So he snapped the ball snap. He's starting to look, and all of a sudden he can see it open. Well, just a hair quicker than it gets the ball off, a hair quicker than it, all those type of things. So your ability to see things, process it, and make a decision and make it happen is also what makes him great, what makes Bryce great. They just play quicker and faster than everybody else because they have that Pentium 5000 processor. I mean, they can just see things and make it happen.
Yeah, speaking of
AI, I guess is what they're AI.
Artificial intelligence.
They could be.
And it's interesting, we're talking about those two guys because they were just named the Big South OVC Offensive and Defensive Players of the Week this week. Paxton DeLorean and Bryce Norman were sitting in his hometown. He had 14 freaking tackles on Saturday.
I know, man, that guy is, we're going to miss him, huh? He was actually in the ER yesterday with 103 temperature, and he's got basically a staph infection. So, it's just one thing after another. But hopefully he got released, and hopefully after a couple of days here in the medicine takes over, he'll be okay. But, there's just always a lot going on.
I saw something I don't think I've ever seen yesterday. Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, had to go into the medical tent, and then he went back into the locker room. This is during the game. I mean, so they've got an assistant coach out there with the clipboard and, the play sheet, over his mouth so nobody can read his lips. And then Harbaugh comes back out, coaches the rest of the game, and they ask him, obviously, after the game, and he had an atrial flutter. And he said he'd had it a couple of times before. He had a couple of ablations. Those are procedures on the heart. So he said, he had it one other time in a game when he was the head coach of the 49ers, and classic Jim Harbaugh made the joke at the end, I'm 2-0 now when I have the atrial flutter. But I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, even the head coaches right now are going into the medical tent.
Yeah, I guess so. I've had lots of heart problems on game days for 11 years. So I don't know if there's a medical term for it, but it's an up and down game, man. It'll humble you in a heartbeat.
So it's 3 years as the starting quarterback for Paxton DeLorean. And he hadn't played in all those games. I mean, he missed the final 4 games last year. He missed time in the 22 season. Was clearly compromised when you played your playoff game against the University of Montana. And now he owns, and he did it all in one game, the all-time completions record, the all-time passing yardage record, and now the all-time touchdown passing record. He was tied with Daniel Santa Catarina with 45. He threw 4 on Saturday and now has set the bar at 49. How about that? I mean, you didn't even know who he was. There's a letter from his mother that shows up at your house, and here we are 3 years later, and he's the all-time statistically greatest quarterback in the history of the program.
Yeah, and he got to make those or get those records at home, which was nice. I know his brother and his dad was at the game, and I think he'd be the first to tell you he's the recipient of a lot of other great players. You don't break records like this. He's basically on been some of the best teams we've had here forever, and so that also helps. And he's getting rewarded for all the work that he's put in, and he's worked hard on his leadership. He's worked hard on a lot of other things, and can't wait to see what life brings his way.
Now, we know where you were on Thursday night. We don't know where you were when they had the thing at Houck Stadium, Fields of Faith, where Paxton DeLorean got to share his testimony and his Christianity with the people that were there. I have seen the video of that. Were you a part of that? Did you get to hear the testimony that he gave? And that's got to make you proud as a coach to have a young man like that.
Yeah, he takes his faith very serious. He wants to be a role model for people, and he is, man. He's using his platform to try to, bring people to Christ. That's been awesome. His mother's one of the greatest saints ever, and he's been raised really, really well, and just his impact will be felt for a while, right? And soak it up. Next year you'll be like, oh yeah, where's Paxton? Because these are hard to find, and doesn't take you much to be pretty average without a great quarterback, and a great one makes us all better.
And you can take it to the bank. Before she sent that letter to Tom and Tuke, she prayed over that letter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. She's a warrior, man. But just can't wait to see how he finishes this year. We're really, he's also benefiting from not being able to run the ball right now. All the running back depth things that we're having to the problems that we're having there. Now we're throwing it a lot more than any time in my history. So he's also getting a lot more opportunities that way. But hopefully, he can make for a run for the Walter Payton Award winner. Which is the Heisman of our level. He needs to continue to have the type of games he had this last week, and he'll be in that conversation at the end of the year.
All right, so you're down to your fourth running back. It's Cole Rubel, as Darryl Smith limped out of the game, grabbing for his hamstring during the game. Brandon Epton, your starter, out and is probably not coming back this year. It's Peyton Brown with his ankle. He was in uniform but did not play again. So Darryl Smith, who's been playing well for you, he's number 3 on the depth chart. Now he's out. Cole Rubel is number 4. We have not seen any other running back in a game for SEMO football other than those 4. But if Darryl Smith is unavailable and Peyton Brown is unavailable, you're going to have another running back. Who might it be?
It looks like it's going to be Ja'Cory Love, who's a true freshman out of Kansas City, and is a really talented guy. Now, he might hyperventilate and kill us all on the bus there, because he's one of those you got to calm down before you don't have to amp him up. But I think he'll take advantage of this opportunity. We'll put him out there today and see what it looks like. He's got to earn playing time, though. Just because you can run the ball doesn't mean you can play. You got to make sure protection. No MAs, those type of things. But it'll be fun. I hope he takes this opportunity and runs with it. And we're talking about Ja'Cory Love next week.
And when you say MA, you're talking about missed assignments.
Yeah,
and
right.
When it comes to protections for running backs, I know as a coach you probably get nervous with young guys.
Yeah.
Because, look, hey, the other teams understand you're down to your 4th and 5th running backs. They're going to bring the heat.
Yeah, if I saw Ja'Cory Love in the backfield, I would send Mother Earth at him. So the only way is you got to put it on film that you could hold up. So that's what he's got to do. Like that's how it works.
So Ja'Cory Love, there's a reason you recruited him here. Tell us about his game.
Well, he goes by Juice, so I'll tell you a little bit about him. But he's just a dynamic playmaker as far as he has the top-end speed and agility, good ball skills, runs really, really hard, tough guy, my kind of guy. But we've only had him for 4 months here, so the jury's still out on everything. But I'm excited to watch him get his opportunity.
He's 180 pounds. What does that mean in Division I football?
That means not big enough. I won't even talk to you if you're not in the 160s. You're not even you don't even. What are you doing? 180s at tailback a concern. You're going to have to pick up a linebacker that's 225, 240, all those type of things. So, but he's some guys can do it. So we'll see. He's not scared of it. I mean, he ain't going to turn it down. He's going to throw it in there. I just hope he's got another one in the closet just in case we break that thing. He can change at halftime.
So in terms of getting game practice reps coming up, how many reps does he get during the week versus what he's going to get this week?
Yeah, he got none, and now we'll get, probably half. Him and Cole will split the reps, and we'll.
Do some of these guys go on the scout team?
Yeah, he went down the scout team, and he gets a lot of reps down there. And again, we don't even coach him much on running the ball. Like, that's done in the womb. It's all the other things, the motions, the shifts, the plays, the protections, catching the football, those type of things is now where coaching comes in, and, we got to do a great job with him.
The nickname Juice.
I think he gave it to himself.
See,
so
that's the thing. That was my next question.
If it doesn't look like that, we're going to call him something else.
You cannot give yourself a nickname. You can't do it. That's not the way that it works. There are nickname rules, and giving yourself a nickname
is not how it works.
No.
I remember when Tuke came about. I got a nickname.
Yeah, I've heard
Tuke. Yeah. So I was in the 7th grade, and I was a Mighty Mite football player. All right, I think I was shaving in the 7th grade, so I was a tailback, just stiff arming dudes. And there's this old guy in the stands that would just scream out "Tuke," and it stuck. So that's where mine come from.
An old guy in the stands as you were stiff arming guys after shaving before the game.
Yeah, like moms are like, coming up wanting to have conversation with my parents about my birth certificate and everything else. So
there's always that one guy. Have you ever seen the video of Andy Reid when he was a kid at the punt, pass, and kick, and he was like 2 feet taller than the next kid that he was? There's always that guy.
There's always that guy.
That was you.
Biology works that way. There's always one of them.
And oftentimes, especially like you're looking at basketball, there's one big guy, and then he stops growing in sophomore year, and he doesn't grow anymore. But he was the biggest kid the whole time, and then everybody passes him up at some point.
Totally.
So you mentioned the Fields of Faith, and we know where you were on Thursday. Your guns were out. You had the Hulk Hogan persona. You were a judge for the slam dunk contest. We have actual footage of this, video and photographic evidence. Tuke Mania was running wild on Thursday night. Tell us about the time that you had there, and everybody I know had a fun time on Thursday night.
Yeah, that was a great event, and I'm glad that they put that on. And, at the end of the day, we are in the entertainment business, and it kind of scares me because I don't want to do any of that. It used to be good basketball and good football is enough, and that's not enough anymore, and you got to be able to be an entertainment value for the fan base and all that. So Briley's an entertainer and put this all together, and I love the dress up. I didn't do any of that when I was a kid. I didn't get to go to any of that type of stuff. So now, man, you want to get me fired up, have a costume party. My wife she's too corporate. She doesn't like going with me anytime I dress up for some reason. But so I had 2 entrances. I knew I was going to get introduced, so I had a WWE belt that I was going to hold up, or I was going to rip my shirt off. I had cut it, just in case I didn't want to get snagged in the middle of it.
And Lena had an opinion on this, did she not?
Yeah, that's why I used a belt. But there's always next year, so we'll see.
I can't prove it, but it seems like Brad Korn may not fall into that category of the rip the shirt off, and I can see Briley Palmer being that way. Coach Korn seems just a little more buttoned up, but he did put the sumo suit on, and from what I understand, came up on the losing end.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have any leverage, right? You don't want to be. You want to be a tall guy in a sumo contest.
Exactly.
Man. It's like you were born to lose that race. But everybody. That's what's fun. Is everybody's different. That's what makes a good team, and it's fun to have head coaches that have relationships, and it's tough because everybody's wanting support for their organization. So sometimes it gets a little salty in meetings and stuff like that. But it feels like the head coaches all have a pretty good friendly relationship with each other.
So when you were a judge for the slam dunk contest, were you a harsh judge? Did it take a lot to impress you?
Oh yeah. I was born to hate. I don't even have to try to hate. Like, it just naturally exudes from me. No tens. No tens. And there was a bunch of tens. They were giving tens away. I was like, hey, this ain't a feel-good contest. Nobody got a 10. There was a couple nines. I gave a couple nines that I thought was solid, but there were some 6s and 7s in there that I was like, hey, you're better than that. But it was fun, and people have no idea how much work it takes. Nate,
they don't even
Brady,
have basketball goals over there.
Right.
Anymore.
I mean, it's just this thing about everybody wants to do this and do that, but I mean, manpower and just trying to do things like that are really tough. So it takes a lot of effort to get things done, man. It's fun though.
What did your daughters think of the Tuke persona and the outfit? They had
I don't know. I put it in our family group chat, and it was crickets. So I'm not sure what. I think they do a lot of talking.
At that age, they've got opinions. I figured that they would share their opinions.
I'll tell you the other thing I do all the time now. You know what I do? I walk around my underwear in the house. They do it all the time. It's like no big deal. People got a shirt on, underwear. That's how I'm rolling. You don't get it both ways. Like, if you're going to walk around in underwear and a shirt, that's what I'm doing.
Please tell me you're a boxer guy.
I don't know what they're called.
Boxer brief.
Yeah, boxer briefs. Like they look like shorts, but they're tight.
Yeah, I'm a boxer brief guy. Yeah, that's good.
So that's what I wear.
All right. That makes
it's kind of freeing. You don't have to wear shorts.
It makes it a little more palatable. Had you said brief guy, that's a little tricky. All right, we're going to talk with Kalani Riddick coming up, Coach. What can you tell us about Kalani Riddick and his recruiting process, how he came on your radar, and when you made the decision to, hey, we know he's a good defensive back, I wonder if he can return punts. Well, he's the best punt returner in the Big South OVC, nationally ranked.
So he has a nickname, Tico. And I'm not even sure how he got that, so he can share with you.
Well, one of Dora the Explorer's friends is Tico. Yeah. So I'm sure.
I hope it's not that.
He knew that already. I saw enough.
Have a little respect for yourself.
Now, did your daughters watch Dora the Explorer?
Yeah. Georgia was a big fan of Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, so I had to grind through the Dora episodes just like you did.
So we were so desperate for DBs, we went all the way to California to get him. That's how bad it was. I was so desperate that I was willing to go to California to sign a DB. And thank God we did. So he was a late signee. I think we signed him maybe in May. I can't remember, but got on the Zoom call with his parents, and he's got a great family. His mom is awesome. She babies him a little bit. She buys him too much stuff, but they love him. Gave him an opportunity. Then he got here. We knew he returned some kicks in junior college, but just like we do with everybody, we give him opportunities to make plays, and kind of showed us that he had a little something. He's a good punt returner. He's fearless. He's got great ball skills, and he gets north and south. A lot of these guys start doing gassers and ain't getting any yards. You know what I mean? Where he pipes it, we always talk about, hey, go get a first down. Hopefully someday he might score a touchdown. It seems like there's lots of guys catch him there in the end, but someday he can maybe get across the goal line. But we're happy he's here. He's going to get his degree here. He's a great young man, and a great representative for SEMO and SEMO football.
All right. So for the average person that may not focus in on this, what is the difference? Like, we don't see him back there returning a lot of kicks. Talk about the difference between being a kick returner and a punt returner.
Well, one is he could do both. We're just trying to limit the hits he has and the reps that he takes. But the biggest difference is people can't judge a punt. They're way harder to catch than a kickoff. And then on kickoff, you gotta have a little courage, because you gotta stick it in there a little bit. It's kind of like an ISO, or at least what we believe in, when we're getting downhill. And he could do both, but right now we just got to do him punt returns.
Boy, and you've got to have absolute supreme confidence in a guy, if he's a punt returner, that he's going to catch the football.
Yes.
Because muff punts can flip games, and if a coach does not have confidence, I've seen you pull an explosive punt returner for a guy who's not explosive, but he's got good hands. I've seen you do that in the middle of a game.
Yeah, I'll put 10 back there before I just let it bounce, give up roll over a turnover, because it's 40 yards plus a turnover. I mean, it's a terrible, if you turn it over on that, it's bad. And it's hard. You got to build skill. It's hard in practice because it's not live. We're not getting hit, but every time you're catching a punt, you're kind of in harm's way. So you got to have that mentality to be able to catch it.
And for those who look at the final stat sheet and saw that you had 9 penalties in the game, in actuality, you only had 7. You took 2 delay of games on punts on purpose. For anybody that was watching the game, you want to give your punter a little better shot. And Tennessee Whiskey dropped a couple inside the 20.
No, he didn't.
He dropped 1 at the 10-yard line.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
He was terrible.
1 rolled into the end zone.
Okay. Well, we still got a lot of punt work to do.
Okay. But for those who are watching and say, well, why the delay of game? That's
give
playing.
More room. And the winds are tough. There's just a lot to it. So more yards give you more margin. Yeah, that's why we do it.
All right, we had to
but penalties are bad. All of a sudden, we broke out. I'm going to score a touchdown and then do a machine gun to my buddy because I'm really cool and I want to be on ESPN Plus, so my girlfriend can watch me. That was disappointing. All right. So there's some. I got to get some stuff off my chest here at 4:00.
What's the actual rule in terms of celebration? Where in the mind of an official have you crossed a line, a boundary, to where you can celebrate, but if you do fill in the blank, we're going to toss the handkerchief?
The way I've been educated is if you celebrate with your teammates, you're fine. If you do anything by yourself, you're not going to get a lot of leeway. And no gun stuff. Some wrestling move with the machine gun, those days are over. So those are the type of things that are just, not even a question. You're just being dumb.
And whatever you do, don't give a high five to any of the fans in the end zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Had a couple. I think it's me. I don't know. I think I'm a terrible penalty coach. I can't get it better. I don't know. It's just been my whole career here. I feel like we've had bad penalties.
Are you going to have to run gassers at practice? I mean, what are we going to do about it?
I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to be good enough everywhere else, so I guess we can overcome it. I don't know. And there are some that we play hard, and I'm like okay with some penalties. I mean, there's just what I call price of poker. When you're in a heated thing, like, things happen. So we're not going to freak out all those. But those post-snap penalties, we had 2 procedure penalties. Those are, they were stemmed that made us jump. Those are the type of things that kill drives that you can't do. But, well, we'll keep talking about, keep coaching them.
And you had the potential for flags during one play on your sideline where your receiver got headbutted by one of their defenders. And I know Sam Cook kind of took exception, but everybody held their cool. There are lots of times where that can be hard to do sometimes, and I was very impressed with your football team that it didn't come back as, let's call it on both teams, because your sideline, now they had something to say to the guy, but at the same time, you were not flagged after that late hit.
Yeah, no, they did a good job. I'll tell you, the underrated guy of all that is our strength coach, Wes Pearsall. If you see anything, any action on it, you'll see him right in there, and he gets our guys back and everything. He does a great job on game day.
And that's a big thing. People got to understand.
I'm not going to go down there that fast. If they're that stupid, then I'll throw the flag. He's still young enough to care, so he gets down there and tries to break it up. Well, those days are over for me.
That's another thing. I was kind of surprised they did not throw zero Cayman Spalding out of the game, because on that same drive, he had an unsportsmanlike conduct. They had 2. They called 1 on you, so it was offset. And then he has that play on the sideline. I thought you only get 2 of those, and you're gone.
Well, dead ball personal fouls.
Okay.
It was a different foul, which is why.
So it didn't fall under the unsportsmanlike.
Right, exactly.
All right. But people got to understand the reason your coach is there and instructed to do that is because football is emotional.
Right. Yeah, when emotion's high, clarity's low, right? And so that's why you got to just try to calm people down. Best way is just to ask them a question. When you process, you get out of that phase of your brain into the other side, and you can take a breath and just try to get on to the next play.
All right, we need to get to the bottom of whether or not Ja'Cory Love gave himself the nickname Juice, and we'll find out where the nickname Tico came from when we talk to Kalani Riddick. We'll take a quick time out. Kalani Riddick going to join us when we come back. It's the Redhawks Coaches Show from Jackson on SEMO ESPN. Welcome back to the Redhawks Coaches Show. We're at Wings, etc. in Jackson. We'll be back in the Cape location next week. Don't forget that game in Charleston, South Carolina is another 3 o'clock start time. Now, we'll be in the Eastern time zone, but it'll be 3 o'clock Central time, Cape Girardeau time, as they take on the Buccaneers. And I don't think they've ever played Charleston Southern, right, Hans? Jeff Hansa confirms first ever meeting between these two schools. Don't forget, Monday Night Football, we've got 2 playoff baseball games, so you can watch it all in high definition right here at Wings, etc. This is the place to be. They've got all of the frosty beverages and the terrific menu, and if you would like to join us for the Coaches Show, you still got time. And if you'd like to stop by this afternoon and into the evening hours, they would love to have you. And if you've never been to Wings, they have an awesome menu. If you have been to Wings, you know all about it. And if you can't make it, you can have it delivered right to where you are. They have partnered with DoorDash. If you download the Wings, etc. loyalty app, it's got all of the information there. You get points every time you order, and you get better pricing than you do through the DoorDash app. So keep that in mind. It is Wings, etc. Good food, great times, and home of the Redhawks Coaches Show. Kalani Riddick is here. How are you, Kalani?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing terrific. Probably not as good. Now, my food is ready when we're done with the show. You had a chance to peruse the menu. What was for lunch for you today?
I got barbecue wings, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Most all of the guys that we have on this show are adamant it's bone in and not boneless. What's your philosophy?
Bone in. I feel like you might as well get chicken nuggets.
Joe Hobbs, the owner back there, he thought that was pretty funny. That's good. That's a good line. If you want to go with the Nuggets, we can help you out. Certainly, it's less messy though if you go boneless.
Yeah, because you can use a fork, but they taste better when it's bone in.
All right, you're from California.
Yes, sir.
I was telling you that when I was in the Navy, my boot camp was in San Diego. My first Navy school was in San Diego. I lived in San Jose for a little while when I was in junior high. So I'm pretty familiar with California. How far is Elk Grove from San Diego?
Like 7 hours.
7 hours.
Yeah, because we're in like Elk Grove, like NorCal, San Diego, SoCal, so yeah.
You've been to San Diego, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I've been a couple times, yeah.
You cross the border to Tijuana?
No, nah.
Okay.
Nah, never.
Yeah, that was a big for the Navy guys. They wanted to get a little taste of Mexico after boot camp. Now, for those who don't know, Elk Grove, California, you're right there, a suburb of Sacramento,
Yeah.
the capital of California.
Yes, sir.
All right, what was it like growing up in Elk Grove?
Well, I grew up in Sacramento, but I went to school in Elk Grove.
Okay.
Yeah, because my uncle, he lived in Elk Grove, and that was a better school, so I just stayed with him when I went to school.
And you said in that area, what, 5 different high schools?
Yes, five different high schools within like a 20-mile radius of each other.
How was Elk Grove in football while you were there?
We were good. We went my senior year. We went 7-3, I believe, and then we made it to we won sections, went to NorCal, and then we lost in NorCal, like the game right before state. So
California is really interesting in how they don't do the classes like in Missouri. Like Jackson is a Class 6 school. That's the highest class in Missouri. Cape Central's a Class 5. They don't do that in California, and we'll talk about the way they do junior college there too. But they don't do class sizes over there, right?
yeah, nah, it's like it's D1, D2, all the way to 5. It's kind of like the same thing, but it's just like a different term, I guess.
They just refer to it a little differently.
Yeah.
And so you went to Sacramento City College to play junior college ball. What was that like? I mean, it was right there.
Yeah,
Your family barely has to travel.
Yeah, it was great because like my family got to come see me play. So you can't, like, when you got family there, you always gonna feel good when your family in the crowd cheering you on. So I loved it. Like all my friends went there. Like people I went to high school with, we all went to the same junior college. People like from other schools that I knew, we went to the same junior college. So it was just great having like family and friends around me.
So in junior college in California, it's different. They're not part of the NJCAA. I know when I'm trying to look up stats and backgrounds on guys, when they're from California and played in a JUCO, that's a completely different deal. California JUCOs are separate from like all the other JUCOs in the U.S., right?
Yeah, because it's so many of them, like around each other, and like just in California it's probably like 20 plus JUCOs, so like they got their own like little sections, way different from like the Midwest and like how they do JUCO. Because in California you get your first 2 years of JUCO is free. You don't even have to pay.
Really?
Yeah. So
your parents had to like that.
yeah, they loved it. Didn't have to waste no money on school.
So what was it like in that football program at Sacramento City College?
Bad. we were terrible. Like I loved everybody there, but like my first year we went 3-7. My sophomore year there we went 3-7 again. It's just like we had the pieces, but we couldn't put it together all the time. So like we'd lose close games. So it was just terrible.
All right, tell us about the first contact that you had with SEMO.
It was a DB coach last year, Coach Jackson. He had texted me on Twitter, and I didn't even know what a SEMO was. Like I never heard of it before. I'm all the way from across the world, so it's just like, all right, let me see what they talking about. And then I looked them up on Google. So, and then I seen, all right, I can do that. And then Coach Tuke had called me after they talked about me and said that they liked me. Coach Tuke gave me a call, and then I came out here on a visit. And I fell in love with it.
What time of the year did you come? Did you come during football season?
And I came May, like late May, early June, I think. Was it June? I can't remember. But I got here. I was a late add-on.
So had baseball already finished?
I believe so. Yeah.
I was going to say they probably would take you to a baseball game if you came, but
actually, I think when I came over, we did go to a baseball game. It was like around the end of this baseball season.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you got to see that. That's a pretty cool place to watch a baseball game, huh?
Yeah, it is very cool. Yeah.
Did you play baseball growing up?
Yeah, that was the first sport I ever even played. I played baseball before I played football. Yeah, and I loved it, but I had to stop playing. Fell in love with football way more.
All right. What position did you play in baseball? Or positions? Most guys play multiple positions.
Yeah, I played outfield. That's the only position I played. Though I played outfield, center, and right.
All right, Sacramento. Is that Dodger country? Is it Athletic country? Is it Giants country? Is it Angels country? Who would you root for?
Me, I don't really have a favorite baseball team.
Okay.
But if you had to pick, it's probably A's, the Athletics. Yeah.
And now they're leaving.
Yeah, they're going to Vegas.
But they're going to Sacramento first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they're going to play in the Rivercat Stadium first, and then going to Vegas.
From what I understand, it's a grass surface, but they're going to in Sacramento put turf in. Well, it's hot in Sacramento in
Very hot.
June, July, August. That's going to be some hot turf there in Sacramento, man. You would know that better than anybody.
Yeah, it gets I remember one day at practice, it was about 110, and we got like a dome kind of like our JUCO field. So it make it even hotter. It's like 115 in there.
So if you're a football player, you at least had to have a favorite football team.
Yeah, but mine is from Seattle. I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan.
Yes, Seahawks fan.
Yes.
Now, how did that come about?
Really, because Cam Chancellor, it was my favorite safety. So
okay.
Yeah, after he left, I just kept liking him. So
I mean that was Legion of Boom days with Chancellor. They're winning Super Bowls back then.
Yes, one of the best defenses ever.
Yeah, they were
top 3 in my opinion.
And as a Seahawks fan, you have to scratch your head about why they didn't hand the football to Marshawn Lynch. They win their second Super Bowl, and they tried to pass it, and it got intercepted, and all they got to do is hand it to Lynch, and it's a second Super Bowl. That had to be brutal as a Seahawks fan.
Hurts my heart every day. I'm giving it to him 4 times out of 4 times. He gonna take all of it.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Anyway, but you did win a Super Bowl. That's exciting. I know. Before they snatched our team here from St. Louis, Rams won a Super Bowl, and they were. I mean, every year it was Rams and Seahawks for the NFC West. That was a good battle back when they had the greatest show on turf with the Seahawks.
Yes, it was great battles all the time they played.
All right, so I gotta talk to you about fielding punts. I mean, to me, that has to be a nerve-wracking thing. Probably not nerve-wracking for you, but man, oh man, I mean, first of all, you never know. The ball can knuckle. I mean, you played baseball. You played outfield.
Yeah.
You get a line drive hit to you, and it's a knuckleball. It's doing this
where
thing.
it's going. Yeah.
Footballs can do the same thing. On a windy day, it's even worse. And then you got guys that are coming down to take your head off. How do you keep your cool and make the catch every time when there's a punt?
Just reps on reps. I've been doing it for a while. I did it in high school, since my freshman year. Did it in JUCO, and so you're just getting reps on reps at it. Just keep catching punts, cause we practice through everything except kind of rain, but. So we get the win. I get the knuckleballs at practice. I get the bad balls. And I just try to field everything just so I can get better at fielding any type of ball. So
I don't know if they had the jugs guns way back in the days like baseball did. That was the first, guns that they had. Pitching machines were the jugs machines, and then you saw them pop up in football. Do you use the jugs machine, to simulate the punts, or do you actually just go through with a punter and he's kicking the ball?
Yeah, we don't use the jug machines. Our punter, he'll get out there early and he'll just kick them to me, so we can get real live reps. Because the jug, it kind of makes it a spiral. You don't get those knuckle balls or the bad balls, so.
All right, let me ask you this. You don't see a lot of left-footed punters, but the word on the street is it's a little different to field a punt from a left-handed or from a left-footed kicker than it is from a right-footed punter. Is it different?
I wouldn't say it is because
Okay.
like you still like you got to catch it either way it goes. Like if it's like left foot or right foot, so it really just feels the same. It just the left footed kicker here probably kick it to my right footed kicker here probably kick it to my left. So it's like.
All right, so you've had a 43-yard punt return. I think you went into this past game, I think ranked 6th in the nation in punt return average. You had the 43-yarder. Did you think that you were going to take that one the entire way when you were in the middle of the return?
Yeah, I should have. Slow.
What happened?
I couldn't even tell you. Like, I thought I was gonna score, and then the guy tackled me. So, like, I gotta get faster.
All right. Did you play corner in high school and junior college, or were you always a safety?
I was always a safety. Well, I played nickel. It's like the slot guy, and then I played safety. So I just always played. I never played corner before. It's not really up my alley. So
sometimes you hear with defensive backs, the reason they're defensive backs and not wide receivers is because they can't catch the football. You can catch the football. Your junior and senior years, you had 11 interceptions, man. You've had a nose for making plays back there.
Yeah, it's just I've always played backyard football, so it's like you get those opportunities to just go get the ball. So it's just like it just comes natural, really.
So they chart. I mean, it is a stat, a pass breakup, passes defended. What's it like to break up a pass when it looks like, this could be a big play? Oh, no, it's not. Kalani Riddick just defended that pass.
It makes you feel good because it's good getting picks, but like when you get a pass breakup when you felt like you was beat or like the guy had an extra step on you or something, it just like that just goes for the training because it's a lot of ways to break up balls. So yeah, it just feels great.
What's more satisfying, breaking up a pass or absolutely laying the wood to somebody coming across the middle?
Laying the wood to somebody, coming across the middle.
Did you play offense in high school?
Yes, I played receiver and running back.
How'd you like it?
It was fun, but I'd rather give the hit than take a hit any day. It hurts taking the hit. So,
all right. So you guys I saw it this morning. Of all of the FCS football programs in the country, there are only 7 that are 6-0 against FCS schools. Your only loss came in a money game against an FBS program in New Mexico State. So you're among the elite of the elite right now, moved up to number 8 in the ranking. I'm sure you guys aren't we pay more attention to that kind of stuff than you guys do, and coaches talked about what the mission is, and at least you guys continue to play the way that you are. You're on track for the mission. Tell us what the mission is.
The mission is just win OVC, do our job, do it to our best ability, and just keep playing. Because if you do what you got to do every day, day in and day out, just put the work in, the results is gonna come. And that's what Coach Tuke harps on us about. Stay focused, just keep doing your job, and the results is going to be the results.
How much pride does the defense take in your last 2 home games? Nobody has scored a touchdown.
Great pride. That's what we try. We try to shut out everybody. Something we know it's not going to happen every time, but when we step on the field, that's our main goal. Nobody's going to get on this end zone. Even at practice, when we do our red zone days, we don't let nobody in the end zone. It don't matter what we got to do. You're not going to step foot in the end zone. So, yeah.
So you're from the West Coast. We're flying to Charleston, South Carolina. That's as East Coast as it gets, as far away probably from Elk Grove, California as possible. Will this be the furthest east you've ever been in your life, or have you been to the East Coast before?
I've been to Ohio. That's Like I guess that's east, but
That's Midwest.
Midwest it is okay.
Yeah,
I was out. Yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be the farthest I've went then. So yeah.
It's a really cool town, Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know. I have to see what the temperature is supposed to be on Saturday, but we'll find out. We got to know the nickname Tico.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of my mom's name and like in my dad's name. My mom's name is Tia, and then my dad's name is Coleman, so Tico, like the just beginning of both of them.
And who gave you that?
One of my cousins, because she said I look like both of them, so she just decided that was going to be my nickname.
Combined it in Tico.
Yep.
But I thought was funny was you knew exactly that there was a Tico in Dora the Explorer.
Yeah. Everybody used to watch that when they grew up. Like,
gotta get a Dora the Explorer reference. All right, so what's the game plan here as you get ready to go take on Charleston Southern? I mean, that's a long trip. You got to battle jet lag, and it's not easy to hop on a flight and travel, and you're playing in a place you've never seen before. So what's the game plan here on Saturday?
Really just keep doing our job. We got great offense. They're going to get it going. Great defense. We're just going to keep executing and keep doing our job, really. That's all we can do.
Can't wait. 3 o'clock kickoff in Charleston, South Carolina on Saturday. Tico, we appreciate the time. Stay healthy. Best of luck rest of the season.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Kalani Riddick. One final note here with Coach Tuke when we come back about the Buccaneers who they play on Saturday. It's the Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings. Final segment here with Coach Tom Matukowicz, Redhawks Coaches Show. Thanks to Kalani Riddick. Great job. And, Coach, as you get ready to head to Charleston, South Carolina, this is a Buccaneers team. They have just one win, but believe it or not, it was a road win against the 15th-ranked team in the country, Furman.
Yeah.
That's their only win. Now, I don't know if Furman's still ranked or not, but so they showed early on in the season if they could put it all together, and they scored 2 defensive touchdowns in their loss to Lindenwood on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a fun trip. Don't know a lot about them. Just now getting to the video and all those type of things. A plane trip, and we've never won a plane trip. And so
Montana.
Yeah,
Montana,
and obviously there's
Montana State,
a lot of good players, good teams. But we got to handle the road trip, long trip. We got to just make sure we continue to repeat the same recipe. Right? We've been excited to practice. We've been excited to prepare, and that needs to continue. We need to be able to prepare the guys that are going to get an opportunity because of injuries and those type of things, and then go out there and get after it.
They play. They've rotated quarterbacks, so I know you probably have to prepare for different styles, right?
Yep, different styles. Lots of good scheme. Defensively, they do a good job. I think they're number one in the defense or number one in the conference in pass defense. So that's a challenge. Just looking forward to it. It's a great trip. Never been out there, and can't wait to play it.
And Lindenwood beat them, but they kicked 5 field goals.
That's what I'm going out there to kick ass. I'm not out there to, whip somebody that's down. So let's go. I think just the team's got to understand that it takes what it takes each week. We got to pay that price and get after it. How
hamstrung are you right now? There's no power on campus. That affects you.
Yeah. Most of our preparation on Monday, man, it's a lot of film that, we're all been working remote through the internet. But all of our videos on a server in our office that's not on. And so it's a challenge. But we'll get it figured out. At 4 o'clock, we can't meet and the power's not on, then we'll just go practice. And then whenever it comes on, we'll start getting to the film.
All right. Have you ever been to Charleston, South Carolina?
No. But evidently it's good because this is a wives trip. And I know the president's going with Pam and all that. So I knew, and normally we do like New Mexico. But Linda's like, hey, how about we go out there to Charleston Southern? I was like, I bet so. But a little nicer town than.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, on the coast. So I guess you fly right in. Not any literally the hotel's there, the college is right there. So it's going to be a great trip as long as you win it.
4 years ago, maybe, I think baseball opened up there against College of Charleston, and then baseball came back that winter to play the Citadel. So I was there twice in about 4 or 5 months. So just recently we're there. It's a really nice city, and I think Lena is going to be excited to see Charleston.
Yeah, and it's crazy. This is a league game. They're in our league at $100,000 to go play this game. I mean, it's just times have really changed with everything that's going on.
I know you weren't excited about spending that exact amount of money to go play Bryant at the end of the year last year.
Right, and they didn't return the trip.
Right.
Just stuff like that. It's just frustrating, but it's just college athletics is kind of going through a moment and, trying to get all these conferences settled down. And, at the end of the day, certainly our size schools should be regional. I mean, we shouldn't be in South Carolina for a league game, So hopefully, eventually, we get all this stuff worked out and, be more bus trips.
And I know you love the fact that it's 3 o'clock. No more night games.
It's 4 o'clock Eastern.
Right.
Yeah, but 3 o'clock here. So, yeah, we're excited. Excited to get my team at 4 o'clock today.
All right. We'll talk to you in South Carolina, Coach. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
That is the Redhawks head coach. Thanks to Kalani Riddick. We appreciate his time. We'll get you back into regular programming here on ESPN Radio. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. We'll talk to you from South Carolina for a 3 o'clock Central Time kickoff on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. So long from Wings.